Hi, my name is Thomas and you're watching Casual DIY channel. In today's video we'll be making another bit more sophisticated stub block for my crosscut sled. Check out the video. Right then, so you haven't seen the video of making this sled, I will link it up above and down below in the description. I have also made two very simple stub blocks for this particular sled, and then they would fit any other sleds or anything else that has got a T-track on them. So if you haven't seen that video, again the link is down below and I'll try to link it up above as well for you to check out. But for today's video I want to make something a bit more adjustable, bit more sturdy, that will give you a little bit more flexibility with your work and greater accuracy. So let's get started. First of all, let's start with the base for our stub block, and for that I'm using a 12mm plywood I've got lying about in my workshop. I'm just gonna cut it to the right size, and we're gonna pre-drill a couple of holes for the bolts that will be holding the whole construction to the T-track. As you can see, we're using the pillar drill as well to sort that out. Right, and so we've got the base, we've got the two holes pre-drilled for the bolts, and now it's time to attach another thing to this jig. When the base is on the T-track itself, it's actually guided by something, not just the bolts, because then it could go out of square. So I've got a piece of plastic, HDP plastic that I actually use for the runners for my sled, but a piece of wood will do just fine. I'm actually just lucky enough that it's a perfect fit for my T-track, so that's what I'm going to use. So on the back of it, I've traced some lines, and I'm going to use my table saw to cut out a notch where this will go inside and will act as a runner. Right, and so as the fit is very snug for the plastic runner, I'm actually just going to be using CA glue just to attach it, put it in place, and it's not going to go anywhere. If in future will come off, then I'm going to be using 5mm epoxy, but for now CA glue should be just fine. I'm just going to leave it like that for a few minutes to set. Right, and so it's time for the next step. I've cut out a piece of plywood 18mm that will go on top of the base, and that will give us a bit more meat to attach the rest of the block stub. And I'm actually going to be using a CA glue with an activator and some wood glue just to hurry up the work so I can carry on with the project. Okay, so we've got our base. As you can see, the block is glued onto this. Now the next step, I already pre-cut two pieces of plywood, one from 8mm ply that will go on top of the base, and then we're going to use a piece of 18mm plywood to cut out the bottom part of it. Obviously we won't need the whole thing, and you'll see why in just a second. Now I want this stub block to be able to retract it and put it back if I need to. Obviously in my last video I've used a bolt, and it wasn't the best solution as there was a bit of a wiggle room for that. In this case I'm actually going to be using a hinge, just mounted at the back, and I will be able to take out the stub block itself from the front. But the hinge itself still got a bit of a play in it, probably a half, well, maybe a mil, maybe half a mil, not much at all. But what we're going to actually do when the stub block is in place we're gonna have another knob at the top just to secure it so it doesn't move at all. So the next part, the next thing that we need to do is to sort out the 18mm ply, to which we're actually gonna attach a T-track as well. Now I'm going to use my table saw to cut this to the right size, plus I'm going to take away some of the material off so I can actually put the T-track inside of it. But you'll see in just a second what I mean exactly. To attach the T-track, I'm actually just going to be using 5-minute epoxy. I had really good results using it before and not had any issues with it. Right, let's start putting the stop block together. And I'm just using a hex drive head nut that will help us to secure the stop block and make sure there is no movement in the fence. Okay then, so we basically want to make the fence adjustable left to right for that micro adjustment there. That's why we've got the T-track over here, and that's going to be our front of our fence. Now again, I'm going to be using a piece of plastic as a runner there, so this will always stay straight and it will not go sideways like that, as we're only going to have one securing point in the middle for it. And we're actually going to fill in the void back here with some plywood as well, so we've got a nice full block at the back as well. So I'm just going to cut a groove for the plastic in this piece of plywood. For the bolt to lock correctly in the T-track, I've actually had to cut off some of the plastic away so the bolt is actually straight and flush with the base plate. And now it's time for the last piece of the puzzle, which is filling the space behind it with an 18mm plywood, just like so. Right, so I added a bit of Danish oil to all the pieces and let's put everything together. Right then, so as you can see, it works absolutely fantastic and it's very sturdy. It's not going anywhere. Even if you bump a little bit, the fence is just dead stable, and that's thanks to the plastic runner over here, that this stays absolutely dead square. And obviously the larger knob at the front makes sure that this is actually not going anywhere. And on top of it, obviously we've got the ability to flip it out, and we're actually not compromising on the whole stop to be wobbly or to be shifting from left to right even for a fraction of a millimeter, because of the knob at the top. It secures everything and it's absolutely dead stable. It will not go anywhere. So I have to say, it took a bit of thinking to make, but it's actually a fairly good and decent stop block. Maybe a little bit overcomplicated, but if you are looking for all-around block stop that can do all the bits and pieces, then I think this is quite a good option. Let me know down below in the comments what you think. This may not be actually the perfect fit for what you need, but I hope it gave you a few ideas on what you can actually make. Obviously, I've made a few improvements in my workshop. If you've been a guest of my channel before, you probably noticed it has changed a lot. But if you're new to my channel, maybe you would be interested in different upgrades that I actually made to my single bay garage, basically transform it into a workshop. So there's a playlist over here. You can check it out. All my workshop upgrade videos is just over here, and I encourage you to check it out. There's definitely a few cool ideas there. But for now, that's all. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Take care. Bye bye.